The city had been planning the drainage for over a year. The Aldermoor Canal, a slow, gray ribbon of water cutting through the industrial heart of Marveston, was overdue for its decennial clean. The last time workers had gone in, back in 2013, it had been a partial draining, and they'd pulled out a bicycle, a cash register, and a mini refrigerator, sealed shut. Nobody had been surprised. That was Aldermoor for you. On the morning of March 4th, Declan Hurst arrived at the pumping station before sunrise. He was a maintenance supervisor for the city's Waterways Authority, a broad-shouldered man of 52 who had seen most things a canal could hide. He signed the pump manifests, checked the weather cold, dry, no rain for 4 days, and gave the order to begin draining. By noon, the water was down by 3 meters. By 3 in the afternoon, the mud had shifted, and something had emerged. Declan, his junior, a young woman named Priya, was standing at the bank's edge staring down. Her voice was steady, but her face wasn't. "You need to see this. But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming stories." At the drained western bend of a city canal, Declan and Priya discovered a massive object buried in black silt. What first appeared to be an old industrial pipe quickly revealed itself to be something far stranger. A rusted steel submarine nearly 15 meters long, complete with portholes and rudder fins. The discovery made no sense given the narrow size of the canal. News of the submarine spread rapidly through the city after a passerby photographed the exposed hull and shared it online. Within hours, crowds gathered along the canal banks, while police established barriers and city officials arrived to investigate. The atmosphere became a mix of public fascination and official concern as more of the submarine emerged from the mud during the continued drainage. A maritime historian named Gerald Parr examined markings on the submarine's conning tower and identified the possibility that it was a German U-boat from World War II. He explained that some captured German submarines brought to Allied ports after the war were never fully documented. According to Gerald, nearby reservoir systems had once been used for secret wartime military testing, including torpedo experiments. Although the idea sounded unbelievable, Gerald admitted it was technically possible that the submarine had been secretly relocated into the canal system decades earlier. The real mystery was not whether it could happen, but why there were no official records explaining how a submarine ended up hidden beneath the city for so many years. The following morning, government authorities ordered the submarine to be opened and inspected. Engineers and recovery specialists arrived, and after cutting through the rusted hatch, a burst of stale air escaped from inside. Declan insisted on joining the entry team alongside Sorcha, an experienced diver. Inside, they discovered the submarine was strangely well preserved and completely dry, as though it had remained sealed for decades. The interior still contained intact equipment, bunks, and control panels. In one compartment, they found a military storage crate and a carefully protected logbook wrapped in oilskin. The logbook contained handwritten German entries dated November 1943, but the most shocking detail was a name written inside in English: Commander Henry Raymond Voss of the Royal Navy. Official records stated that Voss had died in 1942 after his ship was torpedoed in the Atlantic, and he was publicly honored as a war casualty. Maritime historian Gerald Parr explained that there had been wartime cases involving secret intelligence operations, unregistered prisoners, and even staged deaths. The discovery of a supposedly dead British officer's name inside a hidden German submarine raised the possibility of a classified operation or cover-up connected to the wartime reservoir testing facilities. The government reacted quickly by issuing a Rare D notice, asking the media not to publish sensitive information related to the discovery. Instead of suppressing interest, the order intensified public attention. Security around the canal increased dramatically. Mysterious officials arrived from London, and Declan was pressured into signing confidential documents before fully understanding what he was agreeing to. Priya secretly photographed every page of the submarine's logbook before authorities sealed the site. Together, she and Declan contacted an investigative journalist who began researching the discovery despite government pressure and secrecy. A few days later, the journalist published a major story revealing that the recovered logbook contained not only navigation records, but also technical notes describing advanced experimental acoustic listening technology far ahead of its time. The document stated that the system had been successfully tested in the Aldermoor Reservoir tunnels during World War II. The project was reportedly led by Commander Henry Raymond Voss, a British officer, officially declared dead in 1942, alongside two German engineers who appeared in no wartime records. Public pressure increased through media coverage, parliamentary questions, and legal requests for information. Eventually, the Ministry of Defense admitted that the submarine had contained classified wartime research and prototype technology. However, officials refused to explain why British and German scientists had secretly collaborated during the war, or why the entire project had been hidden for decades. Further investigation suggested that Voss had not defected or died, but had instead disappeared from official history with government approval in order to continue developing the technology in secrecy. The mystery deepened when researchers found a final handwritten note inside the logbook, dated the 3rd of September 1971, almost 30 years after the war. The message simply read, "Completed, see file AR7, H." No file named AR7 was ever discovered, and nobody identified the mysterious H. Yet records showed that the same acoustic technology described in the wartime logbook had been patented in Britain on that exact same date in 1970, one through a private company that no longer existed. Months later, the submarine was finally removed from the canal in a massive recovery operation. As crowds watched the rusted vessel disappear down the road, many questions remained unanswered, especially what had truly been completed in 1971 and who had returned to the hidden submarine after all those years. No one ever revealed where the submarine was taken after its removal. Officials claimed it would undergo heritage assessment, though the process was expected to remain secretive and lengthy. Priya left her job and continued investigating the mystery through archival research in London. Soon afterward, the canal was refilled, covering the place where the submarine had rested unseen for nearly 80 years. Within days, life returned to normal. People walked their dogs, crossed the footbridge, and treated the canal like any ordinary waterway again. But for Declan, nothing felt ordinary anymore. Each morning he found himself staring into the water, unable to forget what had once been hidden beneath the surface. After discovering the secrets buried below the canal, he knew he would never look at it the same way again. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscription, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming stories.